Welcome to my channel once again. Today in this video I'm going to talk about three things. I'm going to talk about how time is relative, and I'm going to talk about motivation, whether it's something that we have or it's something that we generate, and lastly I want to talk about how momentum is the eighth wonder of the world. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the relativity of time. I was just looking, I took some break over the Easter break, and I just managed to really get a good time to just rest and relax. I actually realized that for a while I almost kind of felt like downtime is not important. It's almost like downtime, I had the perspective that downtime is not good for me because it's slowing me down from all the goals that I'm trying to work, all the things that I'm trying to achieve. But after having some downtime when we traveled and went to see family, I actually found that was really good. It was refreshing. I got a new step. I feel more bouncy, and even in the moments where I was relaxed or felt like there's boredom, just leaving that, I actually found that has been almost like the catalyst for some creative ideas and ability to look at some of the things that I'm trying to work on, look at them from a different perspective. So the comment I was saying that time is relative, something like it's moving slow, it's moving fast. How many times have you're sitting there on a Sunday and you're doing what you're doing, and before you know it, you look at your clock and it's already 5 p.m. and you're like, oh wow, where did the time go? And then sometimes you're waiting for your coffee or at your favorite cafe and you're waiting and you're like, oh my gosh, it's taking some time and it's only been like 2 minutes. So it's relative, just depending on what you're working for. But just to keep that in mind that time is moving exactly at exactly the pace that is always moved at, but it's our perspective that we're looking. How does that relate to this video? All I want to encourage you is that for your goals or the things that you've been working on and the things that I'm working on myself, to say I should remember that time is moving. It's moving consistently, and it's very easy to underestimate certain investments that I need to make as far as time is concerned. So maybe, for example, everybody's talking about artificial intelligence, data analytics, modeling, ESG, environmental social governance, and different areas. And sometimes you're like, am I going to build new capabilities by investing into something? And then you think that's going to take such a long time. But before you know it, 3 years goes like a flash, literally. And sometimes we discount certain things that are going to take a long time because we think, that's taking too long, we want something instant. But what if I told you that sometimes an overnight success or something that happens or something that we're appreciating is actually something that takes maybe 5 years in the making? When you look at time, 5 years goes so quick. So that's the first point that I had. The second point was something to do with motivation. I'm sure all of you deal with different balance challenges as far as trying to keep up your motivation. Sometimes you don't feel, sometimes the things that you're doing, maybe they're not as exciting to you, maybe they're not giving you that life or whatever. One of the things that I'm also I've read a quote which was saying that motivation is generated. It's almost like electricity. Something, there has to be something else that's generating. And I felt that was really empowering in the sense that, I don't have to wait for almost like a sudden plunge or like a drop of motivation on me and then I move to actually say that, okay, what works for me? How do I generate motivation? For me, sometimes just having a walk around, change of scenery, changing my work location, if that's something that's available to you, I found that to be quite helpful, to change the settings and move to something different and then build on that. And the last thing is momentum. How many times have you found, like at the beginning of the year, you're going to the gym, you're doing a 21-day challenge or maybe an 8-week challenge? It's very easy to keep on going. It's like you're building on, and it's like just little extra steps, and it's very easy. But then the moment something happens, you get sick, maybe you get an injury, and then you get out of routine. I found that sometimes then it's much harder to get back into the routine. So the encouragement that I have for myself and for anybody out there is to say that momentum is the eighth wonder of the world. Reason being is, I think we take it for granted. If we actually made momentum our friend, say, okay, the little things that I'm doing, and we stay consistent, and in those moments where sometimes you just don't feel like doing it, you don't feel like doing the meal prep, you don't feel like reading, you don't feel like doubling down on something, to just remember that momentum is my friend. And therefore, when I stop something that I was doing on a routine basis, I have to either work on quickly getting back to it, because this is what happens sometimes. you're like, oh, I missed one day, what difference is it going to make? And then the following day, oh, I just missed one day, and before you know it, you have momentum going in the opposite direction of the things that you're working for. So anyway, in whatever you're doing, in whatever you're working, as far as this year is concerned, and time is relative. You know, the 12 month between January and December, this is just dates or something, but I like to think of time as cyclical. It's just going round and round. You don't know where does the cycle start or where does it end. Therefore, in as much as we use the guidelines of the calendar, remember that time is relative. Use time to your advantage. Whatever you want to do, is it a course that you want to invest in? Is there something that you want to start learning? Is a new skill that you want to learn? Go for it. Don't worry about how long it's going to take, because trust me, you're going to arrive 3 years later. I was like, oh my gosh, I graduated 9 years ago. And like, actually, I graduated 10 years ago because it was 2011. That's when I finished my undergraduate degree. And time has just flown by. And it's almost like within the 10-year period, this is an equivalent of 3 degrees that people have gone through the cycle. And imagine if we then realize that, 10 years is actually quite a short time. 5 years is a short time. And then just do the cumulative little things. And remember, your motivation, you generate it. Keep on generating. And sometimes you feel like you're not doing it, but remember that you are always in control in terms of your mind and everything. Find what works for you and do that. And last, keep momentum. And right now, as I'm recording, this is my 3rd YouTube video, and this is me just building my momentum muscle in relation to content creation. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this content. If there's any suggestions, please leave a like, put some comments, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye.